unlocking potential together, understanding and supporting our ESL learners. English Second Language Learner. Students whose first language in the home is anything other than English, regardless of their place of birth, may also be referred to as EL learners. Tier 1. ESL is considered a Tier 1 structure, which means that alignment to standards, skills, and performance must be grade appropriate and work to build connections and cohesion between ESL classrooms and core classrooms. Home Language Survey. If a student has been marked anything other than English, the HLS must be turned into the ESL department. Screening assessment. Students are screened for their English language proficiency. Parent notification. Parents are given written notice after students are tested. Required service times. Required times are determined by ELPA 21 screener test scores. Home language surveys are part of new student enrollment packets. Surveys are only completed one time in a student's education. If a student is from out of state, records must be checked to ensure that a language survey has not been completed. ESL program models. Pull out. ESL teachers teach students outside of the mainstream classroom. Co-teaching. The state is readopting and will be a choice after law and rule is finalized. ESL students can be pulled from any class for their scheduled time. Service time is not optional. ELPA 21 standards. ESL teachers uses ELPA 21 standards to guide the instruction and learning pathway. Purpose of ELPA 21. English Language Proficiency Assessment for the 21st Century. To determine the progress English learners have made in learning English. To determine which students are eligible to continue to receive supplemental English language development services. Tennessee has changed platforms from WIDA to ELPA 21 in July 2024. Please collaborate with your ESL teacher to ensure coherence. There are 10 ELP standards that are assesses in ELPA 21. The first 7 focus on the functions of language, and 8 through 10 focus on the features and forms of language. Please pause the video here to review the 10 ELP standards. ELP standards have become more encompassing and require more metacognitive function. They challenge students' thinking and expose students to grade-level content that is focused on comprehension, production, and interaction. ELP standards correspond with college and career standards and are not isolated to literacy. There are 4 domains. 2 fall under receptive language and 2 fall under expressive language. This is an example of a student report in ELPA 21. Please take a moment to review the ELPA 21 performance levels. Please take a moment to review the achievement level descriptors. Pause the video if necessary. There are circumstances in which a parent has chosen to waive services. The responsibility falls solely on the general education teacher to provide ESL services if the parents or guardians waive services. The teacher must create lesson plans providing the ELPA 21 standards. All ESL students require scaffolding, accommodations, and modifications to the assignments to help them be successful. The content does not need to be changed or simplified. The modified tasks need to align to the abilities of the student. Please pause to review stages 1 through 3 of the 6 stages of language acquisition. Please pause to review stages 4 through 6 of the 6 stages of language acquisition. The Individual Learning Plan is a student-directed planning and monitoring tool that customizes learning opportunities throughout students' school experience and supports the attainment of their goals. TenPulse is our platform to create, monitor, and report all actions within our ILPs. ILPs include the student's demographics, ELPA 21 scores, required service times, students' goals for the year, and accommodations for the classroom and testing. Individual learning plans must be followed according to the state of Tennessee. Each ELL student is required to have an ILP. Do not assume that each person sees or experiences the same. We all take away different bits of information even when we are exposed to the same content. All ESL students require modifications and accommodations on a daily basis. All teachers working with the student must become familiar with the ILP. The screener score and the description of what the student is able to do will help to make the modification to the assignments. These modifications can be changed as the student's language abilities in each domain improves and progresses. As the student becomes more proficient, there is less of a need for some accommodations, allowing the student to produce grade-appropriate work with less scaffolding. Take a moment to review examples of accommodations. Take a moment to review examples of strategies. Take a moment to review examples of scaffolds. Take a moment to review best practices for ESL students. Grading of ELs should be based on students' level of English proficiency. The teacher ensures this through the continual use of accommodations and assessments according to the student's ILP. Appropriate instruction and differentiation must be adjusted according to language proficiency level in order to appropriately accommodate the student. Documentation of these components, lesson plans, work samples, and ongoing assessments should be maintained by the classroom teacher. Classroom teachers are responsible for grades, however, ESL teachers may offer support within analysis of student performance. If a student is failing, contact the ESL teacher immediately. The ESL teachers need to be notified when a student begins failing so that accommodations to help the student succeed can be made. By law, students cannot fail due to their ELL status. Please review this final slide on retention. We appreciate your time in learning about our ESL program.